At 5:30, the first trial in the murder mystery of Bardstown's Crystal Rogers is now underway in Bowling Green, Kentucky. The jury seated around 1:30 Louisville time as Crystal's mother, Sherry Ballard, then took the stand in Bowling Green where the trial is being held. Things are moving fast so far as the judge held to his order of no cameras in the courtroom.
WHAS 11 News has hired former prosecutor and now defense attorney Nick Mudd of the Mudd Law Group.
And Nick is our legal analyst and is going to be joining us every night right here at 5:30 this week and for all of the upcoming Crystal Rogers cases, because you've followed this with us for more than a year. So let's get to the top headlines. You've been watching things unfold through our blog on WHAS11.com. What's coming to the top of your mind?
I think, Doug, we predicted it pretty well. The prosecution said right out of the gate, the cell phone records and the GPS are going to put Mr. Lawson essentially at the scene and are going to be very important in securing a conviction in this case. From the defense side, I did find it was a strategic move on the part of Mr. Wolf, Mr. Lawson's attorney, to concede the tampering with physical evidence. That's a not a severe charge. That's a 1 to 5 year charge if he's convicted. He's already got around a year in custody anyways. So it's a lot of times what defense lawyers will do, will concede something and say, hey, we did this, but we didn't do all of what they're saying.
In other words, you mean he admitted to it? That's what
Correct, correct. I mean,
the tampering with evidence.
Absolutely. In the opening, Mr. Wolf came out and basically said, look, we're guilty of that. We don't dispute that at all. However, in terms of this conspiracy to commit murder, we had nothing to do with that whatsoever.
Let's talk about before the trial even started, the judge ruled that he would not allow the camera in the courtroom. What are your thoughts on that, why he stuck to that?
I think he was concerned about, as he said, having the trial turn into a circus and maybe really tainting the jury. Maybe the jurors go home, they see it, they're watching this newscast, they see things about that. I'm not sure, but certainly I'm a big First Amendment advocate, so I believe that camera should be in there. However, we have to all respect the judge's ruling here and abide by it.
So the cell phone evidence going back to that 4th of July weekend of 2015, Steve Lawson's cell phone evidence is what we're talking about here.
Right.
That ties him to her car along the Bluegrass Parkway is what you're saying.
Yes.
You just said that's important to a conviction for him. You say that's it? Is that the biggest thing that's going to do it in this case?
I don't think that's the simplest thing, but certainly it's good for the prosecution here that Mr. Lawson's attorney admitted the tampering out of the gate. So they don't have to worry about that as much, proving that. But, they're going after this big charge, which is conspiracy to commit murder, which is a 10 to 20 year prison sentence. And I think that, as Shane Young, the prosecutor, stated in opening, he said we have to decide if Mr. Lawson agreed to move Crystal's car and if he knew there was a plan to kill her. That's going to be the key to prove here. Was there a plan to kill her? If he knew that and he was part of that plan, and that's going to be that's a mountain to climb.
Yeah, Nick, can you explain to folks at home why Steve Lawson and his son Joseph are being tried separately, and Joseph is being tried with Brooks Houck?
Right. A lot of times that has to do with statements. So if you make a statement, or you have co-defendants and they implicate the other person, you can't just play that statement. And a lot of times the prosecutors will want to, and so a lot of times they'll sever trials because the prosecutors say, look, I want to play Stephen Lawson's statement. However, he implicates his son or Mr. Houck, and you can't force them to testify to, defend that statement. So it puts them in a bad spot, and a lot of times that's the main reason for a severance.
So the tampering in this case for Steve Lawson would be the fact that he moved the car?
Yes.
Okay.
And that he knew that it would impair its ability for trial, et cetera, in a legal proceeding.
The jury is fascinating to you because it's 10 women and 5 men. Obviously, it's 12 jurors with 3 alternates here, but the demographic makeup, why is that important?
It is an interesting makeup. Certainly, there could be various factors for that. But, if you look, generally, population's 50-50, right? Men and women, you would think you would have an 8-7 split here or a 7-8 split. But somehow we have 10 women and 5 men, so we're really looking at a 66-33% split. And certainly the lawyers are going to have to cater to that. I mean, women view things differently than men. Older people view things differently than younger people, and that's certainly something that they need to consider when they're presenting the evidence here. And
just quickly, are you surprised at how quickly everything is moving today?
Absolutely. I did a little numbers. Doug and I were talking before. 46% of the people that came in there on that panel of the initial 37 knew something about the case, which is huge. Usually I get 1 or 2 people. They had 17.
Wow.
And so, ironically, though, of those, they only struck 7 of the 17, I believe. So, It's interesting that they didn't strike more, considering the panel, I believe, had 85 total to pull in. But certainly, I don't know what motions were made on that, but you know, it is interesting that they didn't strike those other 10 people.
All right, Nick's continuing to follow the case. He's going to be with us every night here at 5:30, and then starting tonight at 9:30 on the free WHAS 11 app. That's our app once again. We'll have a special broadcast breaking down this trial today, and as it moves through, maybe even Friday by the time it ends. That's going to be every night starting tonight at 9:30. Oh, we'll see you along down the road there, Nick. All right, thank you very much.
All right.